What's up, everyone? It's Colin here on day 17 of my 30-day challenge. So yesterday I went on a mild rampage and I talked to a record-breaking 9 people, and 5 of them, the first 5 I talked to within under half an hour. So I'm getting a lot better at like just doing this and not, pacing around for a few minutes before I can actually work up the guts to go do it. I remember the first person I ever talked to like this, I sat in my car for like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 minutes, like breathing in and out, like, I can do this, come on, you can do this. And then when I talked to her, I didn't even, I introduced myself and that was it, and then I just peaced out. I was like, So, one thing I'm noticing is that I'm becoming, like 3 people yesterday said that I made their day, and I'm getting mostly pretty decent reactions. Some people are a little caught off guard and just not so much as weirded out as like when I first started this. And I think what it really comes down to is how genuine my approach is now. And this is something for you to take into account, because in the beginning, like my approach, I don't know what kind of motives I had. I just was like freaking out when I did it, and I just was like panicking. And now my motive isn't for like a phone number or anything. It's really just to like compliment the person and get and have an introduction, and that's really it, because I'm not expecting phone numbers out of anybody, because I'm pretty used to getting no's at this point. So and I think that people really pick up on like what your primary motive is. Like, if I had the motive to like, oh, I'm gonna get this girl's phone number, I'm gonna manipulate her into giving me her phone number, then I think people will just pick up on that and just and don't know why they're thinking like, I don't know what you want, but I can tell you want something, so I'm gonna react unfavorably to you. So that's just something I noticed that's interesting, that perhaps you can like take into account when you're out there, if you're doing anything like this. And so I was in the store yesterday, and there's basically a supermodel starts walking through, and I see all the guys are like the guy, like this counter thing, he's like staring, and then even the girls are doing that. And I'm thinking like, this is the last person that I want to talk to right now. Like, I do not want to go do this. This place is crowded, and like everybody's looking at this girl, and I'm gonna be the guy that goes up to her and is like, hey, like, can I have your phone number? And then she's gonna be like, get away from me, creep. And then I'm gonna look like an idiot in front of everyone. So I don't want to go talk to her, but guess what? I do it anyway. So, and I'm like nervous, obviously. And I go up to her, and I'm thinking to myself, like, God, she's probably got like an arsenal of, anti-dudes talking to her in the street, weapons that she is gonna pull out on me. And then I start talking to her, and I'm realizing, I'm like, oh, this doesn't really happen to you very often. Like, you're just as caught off guard and as I am nervous. It was like weird, and so I just kind of it was just a crazy lesson, and we just had a decent conversation. She had a boyfriend and stuff, and we just went on our days, and it was no big deal. And I just was kind of like thought about all the times that I've in my history where I haven't talked to somebody because I was like, oh, she clearly doesn't want to be talked to, or she has a boyfriend, or she'll obviously reject me because this happens to her all the time. Well, this is probably not the case, and I'm probably making most of this stuff up in my head. And when it comes down to actually talking to the person, look, oh, this person actually doesn't get talked to that often. So that was interesting. And then, I'm also starting to get pretty comfortable at doing these like one-on-one sort of approaches to strangers and stuff. And, I'm looking for ways to really like step up my level of rejection. Like, I'm looking at like, okay, let's take some more risks here. And so I went on a suicide mission yesterday, where this was like clearly just going to go down in flames, and it did. And so I'm talking with the street. I met somebody on the street, and we're actually exchanging phone numbers or something like that at this point. And we talked for a little while, and we were chatting, and then while we're talking, there's another girl that I also find cute walks by and probably picks up on whatever's happening on our end, and I don't know, something like that. So, and then I'm thinking, and then we part ways, and I'm thinking like, there's no way that that's going to go down well if I go try to talk to that girl who just watched me talk to this girl on the street, like, as a stranger. But I think that I need to go do that anyway. So I run, she's like 2 blocks away at this point. So I run for 2 blocks, and in my, I'm like, okay, well, this is, I'm trying to make this as least painful for everyone as possible. So I'm thinking that I'm going to let her know that hey, I just met a stranger on the street, and while you walked, and you walked by, and I thought you were cute, and I was like, hey, why not talk to you too? It's just gonna be like, it's just open about everything. And so I ran up to her, and I'm like, hey, excuse me, and she turns around, and she's probably like recognizes me from like 2 blocks away and doesn't know how I like transported there, and it freaked her out. She's like, ah, and then I got freaked out, so I was like, ah, and then we're both like standing there. And and I'm like, and she's like looking at me, like waiting for me to say something. I'm like, I thought, and I'm just like totally lost for what to say. I'm just like, I'm totally caught off guard. I'm like a buffoon at this point. I thought you were cute. And before I could say anything else, she's like, I have a boyfriend, and takes off. So that was like, and this is like happening on the street too. So there's like people walking by, and like, I clearly look like a fool in front of a handful of people, so that was pretty painful. So I'm like, okay, back to good old fun rejection zone. So anyway, I'm gonna keep trying to maybe like push the envelope a little bit about like what I'm experiencing. I hope not to do too many more suicide missions, because that's just not fun for anyone. But I just felt like I had to do that. So it was for you, man, for you. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I will keep you posted on more journeys later.